You have a lot of evidence for your custody case, but how do you know if your evidence is actually admissible in court and will help your case rather than just being dismissed and you don't have a lawyer to tell you what you can use? Well, there's a lot of concern about wasting time on irrelevant or inadmissible proof, right? This takes a lot of energy. It's very triggering to go through all of this evidence. So how can you streamline this for yourself? Well, the first thing you're going to want to do is you want to find out what is admissible in your jurisdiction. I'm a big fan of AI for this. ChatGPT or Claude can help a little bit. You can also call the courthouse. They cannot give you legal advice, but they can answer some questions about what could be admissible. You can also go to the website for your courthouse, for your jurisdiction, and they should have some instructions there as well. Now, second thing is break down all of your evidence into categories. If you have, let's say, 100 pieces of evidence, if I were to put all of these 100 pieces of evidence into categories and name those categories, what would those categories be? And then go with the top 2 to 5 categories, and then choose the top 5 pieces of evidence for each of those categories. You're looking for the stuff that is powerful and compelling once you know that it's relevant and admissible for your case. Now, if you're using recordings, you need to find out if they are legal in your state or province, and you can do that easily with a Google search. You can just go to the internet and search the name of your state and ask about the recording. So you could always put in Minnesota recording laws, and it's going to tell you whether you're in a one-party consent state or a two-party or all-party consent state. If you're in a one-party consent state for audio recordings, because you really want to look if it's audio or video, one-party consent means that there just needs to be one party, one person in a conversation who is a part of that conversation, who is aware that they're being recorded. Now, you got to double check your state laws because it could be slightly different from this, but generally speaking, that's often what it looks like. But you got to find out if it's legal first. The other thing about recordings is in order for it to be admissible, you might have to put a transcript in that was not done by you, but that is certified and done by somebody else and have it notarized or certified. The third thing is know your deadlines for turning things in on time to the courts. Otherwise, it can be rejected or opposing counsel or your ex can object to it being seen or heard by the court because it wasn't put in by time. So call that courthouse and find out when is the deadline for you to be putting in evidence and see if they will let you know. Again, they can't give you legal advice, but they can at least tell you some things like that. And then the last thing is go to the courthouse to determine what forms need to be submitted with your evidence and if there are any rules about how it is to be submitted. For example, if you're printing it out on paper, does it have to only be one-sided? Can it not be two-sided? Do you have to use paper clips? Do you have to use staples? These things can make the difference as to whether or not your evidence is accepted. Also, if you are submitting it digitally, how are you submitting it digitally? What format does it need to be in? Does it have to be PDF? Can it be any other type of file? Then find out whether the other party, the opposing counsel or your ex, needs to get your evidence at the same exact time or before you turn it in and how exactly you need to do that. So check with opposing counsel, the other attorney, to find out how is it that you need to get it to them. You also want to find out, does someone need to be served? How is it that you're allowed to serve the other side and by when? And then also, you're going to want to ask how long will the people or company who is serving your ex or their lawyer, how long is it going to take you to get proof of service? Because that's something that you need to submit to the court as well, usually. Level up your case. Pro Se Clinic for Self-Represented Parents. We've got our big relaunch with a new look, powerful new guidance, July 4th. More info at proseclinic.net and below. Your truth, your evidence, your victory.